On August 6, 1945, the world changed forever as a blinding flash engulfed Hiroshima. Tsutomu Yamaguchi, a diligent engineer, stood at the threshold of life and death, his shadows cast by ruin. As the blistering heat scorched his skin, he found himself on the ground, disoriented but alive, grappling with the reality of devastation surrounding him. Everything he knew crumbled into dust, yet within that chaos, a flicker of hope ignited. The following day, bandaged and desperate to find solace, Yamaguchi began his arduous journey back to Nagasaki. Each step was a reminder of the horrors witnessed, shadows of his former self flickering with every passing moment. He reported for work, determined to resume normalcy despite the pain rippling through him, immersing himself in the cacophony of life gripping the air. Just 3 days later, fate thrust him once more onto the edge of despair as the earth trembled again. The second bomb detonated, and once again he narrowly escaped annihilation. Emotions flooding through him like hot tears. Surrounded by rubble once more, his spirit, though scarred, refused to yield. Tsutomu Yamaguchi transformed his anguish into purpose, becoming a passionate educator and resolute peace activist. In a world yearning for hope, his voice rang out against the perils of nuclear weapons, advocating for a future unmarred by destruction. Until his last breath in 2010, the man who survived 2 cataclysms became a beacon of resilience, embodying the unwavering will to promote peace, forever etched in the annals of history. On October 17, 1814, an unexpected catastrophe unspooled in London. The Moo Company brewery, usually filled with the lively ambiance of beer making, became the epicenter of disaster. As workers toiled diligently, a deafening crack shattered the mundane peace. A giant iron hoop snapped, and the monstrous vat, holding a staggering 160,000 gallons of dark porter, ruptured explosively. Suddenly, an unimaginable torrent raged forth, as if the brewery itself had exhaled a horrific breath of chaos. Over 320,000 gallons of beer unleashed onto the cobbled streets, where the sweet yet suffocating aroma of yeast mingled malevolently with the sudden cacophony of destruction. A surge of frothy liquid crashed against houses and shops, relentless and powerful. Londoners, caught unsuspecting, stood bewildered as the flood transformed into a wall of dark liquid, flowing over sidewalks and flooding basements. The horror climaxed tragically. Lives were lost beneath the turbulent tide, swallowed in a whirlpool of foam and debris, their cries drowned beneath this catastrophic wave of alcohol. In the shadow of this disaster, rescue efforts faltered and blame dissipated into thin air, leaving behind tales of disbelief and sorrow. The event was categorized as an act of God, scandalously absolving any human fault. This peculiar tragedy, forever etched in history, became known as the Great Beer Flood, a haunting reminder of the unpredictable power of industry and nature. With each retelling of that fateful day, echoes of laughter and tears danced through the streets of London, a city that bore witness to one of the strangest and most tragic calamities ever recorded. On a fateful November day in 1970, a staggering 45-foot sperm whale washed ashore in Florence, Oregon. Locals gathered around the massive, rotting carcass, their eyes wide with a mix of curiosity and disgust as the sun bore down on the bloated remains. The air was thick with an unforgettable stench, a pungent reminder of nature's raw power and fragility. Faced with an 8-ton conundrum, city officials wrestled with the dilemma: how to dispose of this colossal behemoth without stirring up more trouble. Turning to unconventional measures, the Oregon Highway Division proposed a radical solution to their whale predicament: explosives. The plan aimed to blast the whale into small chunks, making it easy for scavenging seagulls to finish the job. Onlookers, filled with both anticipation and disbelief, assembled at a safe distance as engineers meticulously packed the whale's body with an astounding 20 cases of dynamite. The countdown was a cacophony of excitement and nervous laughter, climaxing in a decisive moment. With a thunderous boom, everything changed in an instant. As the echoes of the explosion faded, chaos erupted. Oily whale meat rained down like grotesque confetti. Spectators dashed for cover as chunks of blubber struck nearby objects with surprising force, painting the beach in a gruesome mess. The seagulls, rather than swooping in to feast, took off in alarm, leaving the city to contend with weeks of cleanup. The infamous event became etched in local lore, a testament to the extremes of human ingenuity and the quirks of nature gone awry. After World War I, Australian soldiers were given land in the western wheat belt. But the soil was rough, the support was minimal, and the timing was terrible. As they struggled to farm, something else hit them harder than drought or debt. Emus. Tens of thousands of large, flightless emus migrated inland, right through farmland, trampling fences, flattening crops, and causing chaos. Desperate, the farmers called the government called the military, and so soldiers were sent with machine guns to fight birds. On November 2nd, 1932, the war began, but the emus didn't play along. They ran, fast, in groups, too spread out to shoot efficiently, too quick to hit. In one ambush, soldiers fired hundreds of rounds and killed maybe a dozen emus. In another, the gun jammed. The birds escaped, unharmed. After weeks of failed skirmishes, low bird casualties, and rising embarrassment, the military retreated. The emus had won. The press mocked the whole campaign. Farmers were still furious, and history was left with one unforgettable truth. The emus fought bravely and tactically outmaneuvered the Australian army. In the summer of 1518, an eerie phenomenon seized the city of Strasbourg, where an inexplicable compulsion to dance took hold of its residents. It began with a solitary woman, her feet moving as if guided by an unseen force on the cobblestone streets. Hours turned into days, and soon, doorways nearby filled with onlookers, enthralled yet horrified by her relentless twirl, a grim spectacle that defied reason. As the sun rose and fell, more people joined the haunting dance, forming a macabre procession of bodies in motion, devoid of joy and the music that typically accompanied such revelry. Panic spread through the community as dozens became hundreds, each dancer lost in a trance, their faces pale and strained. The authorities, bewildered by the rapid escalation, sought explanations in the realms of the divine and the demonic. Some whispered of punishment from above, while others blamed a strange mold infecting the grains of their daily bread. Desperate for a cure, they called upon doctors and clergy alike, yet none could turn the tide of this mysterious affliction. In a misguided attempt to alleviate the madness, officials sanctioned the dancing, constructing stages and hiring musicians, believing exhaustion would end the strange episode. As the nights grew longer, the consequences became chillingly apparent. Dancers, caught in a frenzied loop, began to collapse, the toll revealing itself in heart attacks and strokes. The streets, once filled with laughter, transformed into scenes of despair. After weeks of this bizarre chapter in history, the frenzy ceased as abruptly as it began, leaving behind a silence that haunted the city. Historians continue to debate the cause of this strange event, shrouded in mystery, whispering of a time when bodies moved uncontrollably, as if puppeted by forces beyond understanding.